Good day, sir. My name is Lim Jiawen from Group 1. Today, our group would like to present about the technology industry of semiconductor sector. First of all, technology industry is one of the important and major industry within the world as well as in Malaysia. The concentration ratio of the semiconductor sector is sold for the year of 2016 to 2020. There are some famous and major semiconductors company in Malaysia such as BEEI3063 Corporation Berhad, Malaysian Pacific Industry Berhad, DNO Green Technology Berhad, Unisem Berhad, Global Tronics Technology Berhad, KESM Industry Berhad, JHM Consolidation Berhad, Franken Corporation Berhad, Turia Berhad, and Inari Amatron Berhad. The market concentration ratio is known as the measurement that measures the market share among the firms in that particular industry. In this analysis, we use the end firm concentration ratio to measure the share contributed by the end firm in that total industry size. So we use the 4-firm concentration ratio in our indicators of the market power based on the result. We know that the CR4 for 2016 is 0.7783, while for 2017 is 0.7520, while for the 2018 is 0.7384, for 2019 is 0.7420. For 2020 is 0.7398. Okay, we can see that the ratio indicates is between 0.74 to 0.78. That means that the semiconductor sector is a high oligopoly. The high oligopoly market is there are 2 or more firms that operate in that industry. So the high oligopolies have a high barriers to entry. The barriers to entry is to protect the firm from other competitors. While for the registration, the certification and licensing of the business and product, this will also can receive the new entries to join into the semiconductor sectors. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lim Cindy, matrix number 271383. I will start my presentation with 3.2 competitiveness. So firms that we choose are from the subsector of semiconductor, which is under the technology sector. So in CR4, there is measurement to identify the type of firm, which is from 0 to 40% is perfect competition, 41 to 60% is monopolistic competition, 81 to 99% is high oligopoly, and 100% is monopoly. So based on the figure 1, in 2016, MPI has the highest concentration ratio, which is 0.2671 or 26.71%, while DNO has the lowest concentration ratio, which is 0.0786 or 7.86%, but high concentration ratio does not imply the market power. In 2017, all firms are still categorized under the perfect competition because their concentration ratio is below 40%. The concentration ratio for the 4 firms has a decreasing trend in 2017. So in 2018, the concentration ratio of the MPI and Unisem dropped about 3.33% and 11.51% respectively, while the concentration ratio of Inari and DNO has increased about 12.23% and 1.6% respectively. So we can conclude that Inari is more competitive among the 4 firms due to implementation of a new project with Osram, which boosts their revenue. So in 2019, MPI concentration ratio still the highest and increased continuously since 2016. So the concentration ratio for DNO rose about 15.35%, while the concentration ratio of Unisem and Inari dropped about 7% and 6.03% respectively. In 2020, the concentration ratio of MPI and Inari dropped while the concentration ratio of Unisem and DNO rose. Besides, the revenue of DNO rose in 2020 due to the increasing share price as the worldwide car sales increased. So next is about the comparative advantage. The comparative advantage of Unisem is they continue to invest in R&D in 2017 and enhance the process of technologies such as advanced chips technology and water pumping to increase their operational efficiency. While Inari focuses on the continuous developing and innovation in people, technology, and ecosystem. Lastly, MPI has an in-house research and development center with dedicated production capabilities to innovate new products and develop a long-term relationship with their clients in building technology roadmap together. So that's all for my part. Thank you.
Good day, sir and everyone. My name is Chin Ho Yu. Now I'm going to present the part of conduct of firm strategic behavior. In this part, we have chosen two strategic behaviors, which are research and development, R&D, and merger. Firstly, R&D is the strategy used to improve the production line process in order to bring more effectiveness and efficiency to the company in saving costs and time. The growth in this segment becomes significant for the increasing smartphone penetration rates and infrastructure expenditure in the readiness for 5G network. Secondly, merger consisted of vertical and horizontal merger, which is also known as conglomerate merger. For instance, vertical merger existed between two firms with potential or actual buyer-seller relationship, while the horizontal merger is one of the rivals in the same market to form a company. To elaborate these strategies well, we did insert two companies for each section. Witros Corporation perhaps become a good example in constantly pursued the growth in R&D. It also placed Witros at the top performance in sales and return on asset based on our findings in the company performance, which will be presented by my colleague Chen Yi later. The reason why the company performed well in the industry is because of they always been finding out the way in product innovation to catalyze the sustainable growth and prepare for 5G network. In 2020, Witros has successfully launched more than 10 new and enhanced vision inspection handlers and electronic systems. In staying ahead of Industry 4.0, Witros has introduced the ultra smart AI programming with BEEI3063 system, which include a few unique inspection coverage such as inspect gold fingers, distance measurements, gold pads, and algorithm technologies, which contributed to process-driven and quality control across the industry. The second company is Malaysian Pacific Industry Berhad. CTC Calcium Technology Center is a key player in launching the high-power packaging line. It is used for the main power amplifiers in new packaging and assembly technologies capabilities. Besides, the company was very active in participating in the customer roadshows and international conferences to present the model of automotive industries. The intellectual property management of the company to ensure the intellectual properties bring in more value for the group. The company obtained 36 active patents worldwide, including USA, China, Malaysia, and Europe. They aim to transform the traditional manufacturing industry by the growing technology like robots, sensors, and big data. Next, let's move on to the merger. It's about D&O with its potential acquisitions, Syntronics Asia. D&O Green Technologies Berhad bought the electroplating services from Syntronics Asia with Rm 55 million. D&O has its own plans in these acquisitions as they want to expand into lead frame, which is one of the input of LED manufacturing. Since the electroplating is the key to manufacturing the smart LED, so they choose Syntronics Asia. Syntronics Asia has their advantage as they have a strong NNC customer base and high profits once a year up to 40% to 60% for 2022 to 2026. Last but not least, Unisem acquired by Huatian Technology. In 2018, Huatian Technology announced to acquire Unisem with Rm 1.17 billion. It is a collaboration agreement between Huatian Technology Group from Hong Kong and Malaysia. Huatian Technology Malaysia hold for 60% shares of the total 79.24%. The remaining were taken by Hong Kong. Even the majority shares held by Huatian Technologies, but the management team in Unisem still remains the same group. Huatian Technology is engaged in packaging and testing semiconductors with circuits, MEMS sensors, and semiconductor components, and they aim for growth into internationalization, so these acquisitions become effective implementation as it can improve the global industry layout and expand their industrial scale in the international market. So that's all from me. Now I would like to pass the presentation to Chen Yi for the next part. Thank you.
Good day to sir and my friends. My name is Chen Yi and my matrix number is 2722101. Now I will present my part, which is performance. This performance part will discuss the first performance with analysis of the sales, return on asset, and return on equity. Based on the table, we can realize that the Malaysian Pacific industry recorded the highest sales from 2016 until 2020. This is because they keep introducing new products such as advanced packaging and testing and new thermal materials. However, Tulia Berhad recorded the lowest sales for the consecutive 5 years from 2016 until 2020. Recently, Tulia Berhad was taken over by the MAA Group. Next, return on asset. Based on the table, we can see that Vitros Corporation Berhad recorded the highest return on assets for the 5 years from 2016 until 2020. This means that Vitros Corporation Berhad is most efficient in their management by using its asset and generating profit efficiently. B&O Green Technologies Berhad recorded the lowest return on asset in 2016. Tulia Berhad recorded the lowest return on asset in 2017 and 2018, while the KSM Industry Berhad recorded the lowest return on asset in 2019 and 2020. Especially in 2020, KSM Industry Berhad only recorded 0.02% for the return on assets. This is a big issue for the KSM, which means that they are really not efficient in order to use their asset to generate profit. Next, return on equity. Based on the table, Vitros Corporation Berhad recorded the highest return on equity for the 5 years from 2016 until 2020. This means that Vitros Corporation Berhad also did well in generating their equity capital to profit and have high firm profitability. D&O Green Technologies Berhad recorded the lowest return on equity in 2016. Tulia Berhad recorded the lowest return on equity in 2017 and 2018, while the KSM Industry Berhad recorded the lowest return on equity in 2019 and 2020. Especially in 2020, KSM Industry Berhad only recorded 0.03% for the return on equity. This means that KSM is bad at generating their capital equity to profit. We can conclude that the firms which have the high return on asset also recorded the high return on equity. The firms which have recorded the low return on asset also will record the low return on equity. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Yvonne Chang with my number 272105, and now I will continue with the public policy, and we will focus on the Competition Act 2010. The Competition Act of 2010 is a law that promotes the economic progress. This act promotes and protects the competition process, thereby safeguarding the consumer interest and providing the relevant information. The act allows the producers to compete fairly with one another. On April 1, 2011, a competition commission was established under the Competition Commission Act of 2010. Malaysia Competition Commission is the name of this organization, MYCC. MYCC's mission is to carry out the Competition Act of 2010. Its goal is to protect the competitive process of the benefit of the enterprise, consumers, and the economy. MYCC oversees the process of the fair competition in the commercial market to ensure that all participants of the economy are treated fairly. The future Nike technologies also reflect the prospects of the semiconductor industry. Coupled with the US and China trade war, chip shortage problem in response to the increase in the global demand for the semiconductors. This allowed Malaysia to take the opportunity. There are already investors to come, and our government to take the measure to encourage and start up the subsidies, and others will be able to help local companies to develop the semiconductor industry in Malaysia. However, the semiconductor industry is now facing some difficulties, namely the shortage of the labor and resources. Due to this problem, manufacturers have to compete for the limited resources. MYCC need to take action to address this issue. Abuse of the dominance as defined in the Section 10 of the Competition Act 2010 can be used to address this issue. It is illegal and prohibited for a firm to engage in any form to abuse of the dominance in any market for the products and service. The last part is the conclusion. As the conclusion, the opportunities for Malaysia's semiconductor industry are limitless due to the rising global demand for the semiconductors. The semiconductor industry will eventually emerge into a vital part of the country's economic growth pillar in the future decades. That's all from our group, and thank you.